Hello, and welcome to Game Grade. Today, I'm going to be talking about Metal Gear Solid, the first one, because that's the only one I've played, and yeah, I am incredibly young and in my prime, so I was not around when this game originally came out. The game came out in 1998, but it's set in 2005. So, being the incredibly young person that I am, I just played it for the first time, and I was actually blown away by it. I wasn't, like, I'm not dissing older games or anything, because that's actually kind of what I started playing. So, my first ever game was New Super Mario Bros. Wii, which, I love that game. I love the Mario series. It's great, but that was the first game I played, and then shortly after was introduced to, like, the original Super Mario Bros. And the original, like, Sonic the Hedgehog, and so I have an appreciation for older games. I know this was, Metal Gear Solid was made after that, but I haven't really played that many games from, like, the 90s or even, like, early 2000s, unless they were, like, Nintendo games. Like, I finished playing Pokemon Blue for the first time, which, because I'm a huge Pokemon fan, it was great. But Metal Gear Solid was, like, amazing. It's my first Metal Gear game. It's, I think, my first Konami game. I'm not 100% sure. I've probably played one sprinkled in there in my bajillion games that I've played. It's also my first Kojima game. I just bought Death Stranding since it just came out on Xbox. I thought, why not? It's on sale. I might as well play it. So that will be coming up soon, but it's like a long game, I think, so it might be a bit before I do a podcast on it. But Metal Gear, the game I should actually be talking about, it's amazing. Like, it even had, like, live-action cutscenes. So, like, spoiler warning, if somehow you've never played this game, kind of like me, because I just finished it, like, 30 minutes ago. So I'm very positive about it right now and excited, so that's why I'm talking about it. But spoiler warning, it's a story-heavy game. So, leave now if you don't want spoilers. Also, these podcasts are mainly audio, and there really aren't any visuals. But I took some clips as I was playing, and I'm going to try to edit those in. If I can't figure out how to edit them in, well, whatever. I don't think anyone listens to these anyway, but if you do, thank you. You're amazing. I just hit 10 subscribers. The 9 people that did this of their own free will are amazing, and the one guy that I told to subscribe, well, I told him to subscribe, and I know where he lives. So, he had no choice. I'm kidding. But, Metal Gear Solid, you play as the Japanese version of Rambo, even though he's still American. And I saw in the credits they had a USA research team, which is amazing. So they sent a bunch of Japanese guys to learn about the ways of the Americans. And I guarantee by the time those Japanese guys got back to Japan, they were 50 pounds heavier. And they were probably talking about assault rifles a lot. Yes, that is the true spirit of America. McDonald's and I don't know. But anyway, gosh. You play as Snake, who at the end says his name is David. So I don't know if that's like his actual name or he just kind of made up one on the spot. I think this game has multiple endings. I got the ending where they go off on a jet ski and there's a caribou there and a baby caribou. It's so cute. And it's Snake and Meryl, because I survived the torture scene or whatever, and I don't know. I probably got the worst ending, but it was a happy ending and I liked it. And having, like, the voiceover of Dr. Naomi and her, talking about, like, the meaning of life is to just live. It doesn't really matter what your genes encode for. You should just live and enjoy life, which is a good message in a game that's all about war. But it's so cool. The game was made in Japan by Japanese programmers, but it feels, it's set in America, and other than the fact that it has a mech, and it's a little bit anime-y, they got, the Americanness correct in it, which I think is really good and really impressive. And I knew it was a famous game. I knew a lot of people loved it, but I kind of thought it might be like a nostalgia thing. I didn't have the highest of expectations going in, but the writing, the dialogue can be a little bit, like, over the top dramatic, but I feel like a lot of projects can kind of suffer from that, because as a writer, I've written like 3 novels. None of them are published, but I've written them and I'm working on screenplays, and, like, the stuff sounds cool in your head, and then when you hear a real person say it, it's like, oh, maybe that doesn't sound as cool. Maybe that's a little bit cringy, or that's a little bit too dramatic. Like, this is not a Shakespeare production, this is real people that have to say these lines if it's a screenplay, or if you're at like a book signing event for your novel and you have to read your own words, it doesn't always sound as good. So I always try to, I'm not knocking Kojima. He's regarded as a genius, and playing just this game, yeah. I mean, this game is, science fiction, a lot of it. But what I always love with science fiction is when they get the science right. Because I'm a science nerd, I'm a history nerd. I am the world's biggest nerd. All I'm missing is glasses with tape on them and flat hair. I keep my hair volumized and lovely. 7 conditioners a day. But they got this, the science that is meant to be correct is correct. So at the end, Liquid Snake, Snake's brother, anyway, he talks about like how he got all the recessive genes, and Snake got all the dominant genes to create a dominant phenotype, and they mention nucleotides and mitosis, meiosis. I have no intention of being a doctor, but I do love, the science stuff, like the original Jurassic Park, like the novel. Michael Crichton was so in-depth and in detail about the science. Like, it was all correct, the parts that could be correct. And then, of course, but then the actual fiction part of the science fiction still feels grounded in real science. So it makes you believe that it could actually happen, and I think it could. And the stuff in Metal Gear, the science, is pretty much accurate. I mean, from what I know. So I like that. And getting a 5 on an AP Bio exam, probably helped me understand that bit of Metal Gear. I can't imagine how many people playing this game in 1998 were like, I wish I could search this up on that new thing called the internet. I think it was made the internet was made like 1973, but the people didn't get it until later. But I bet so many people, like teenagers playing that, were like, what does the phenotype mean? And I would say even people playing that now are probably like Googling it, but, I'm a bit of a science nerd, so I like that. The stealth, like, it feels stealthy, it feels good. The weapons in the game, they do feel like they pack a punch, but also the enemies are a little bit bullet spongy. And I played, I have like no gamer pride. I play the game on easy. I normally start on like normal mode, and then I get bored when one boss takes too many hits, and then I just go to easy. Because as long as I get the story and the general gameplay, I'm fine. If I'm playing as the world's greatest soldier or a literal god or whatever, I want to feel like that. And I think easy mode is better than that. Because if you play on like nightmare difficulty, you're just, especially if you're like Kratos, the god of war, and you're playing on nightmare difficulty, well, you don't feel like a god of war, you feel like a peasant. And I'm playing as Snake, who's supposed to be the best, soldier or whatever. And, if I was playing on hard difficulty, I would feel like a 3-year-old with like a water pistol against like Captain America. It wouldn't end well. So, I played on easy, whatever. But it was good. The stealth was good. The enemy AI, for it to be kind of primitive, was good. And I love just how you can just hide in a cardboard box. And they were like, it's a box. And then they just walk off. But sometimes they like flip the box over. So was it just like a 50-50 chance of them flipping the box? They always flip the box at the worst time. I'm like when I have no rations and I'm like one shot from death. Or I'll be in like a room and then it'll seal off and the poison gas comes in and gah. The game's great though. The final boss, it's actually really good. I do feel like the windows between attacks are a little bit short, so it's a little bit difficult to, pull out the stinger and look up and shoot the radome or whatever it's called, the circle bit on the Metal Gear Rex. So the windows are a little short for that, but, whatever, like I beat it. It took me like 3 goes, and it's not that long of a fight. The cutscenes are much longer than I expected. I also didn't expect, like, live action cutscenes. Like in the credits, it showed like animals in Alaska. That was like awesome, like nature documentary footage in a game from 1998. And like some of the cutscenes, it showed like, real like looking Japanese scientists, and it showed, I guess, footage from like the Gulf War, or maybe they acted it all out. So this must have been like an incredibly high budget game if they had to get that footage, or if they just used stock footage or pre-existing footage and got the rights to it. Still, That's awesome. And I played the original Resident Evil recently, like the 2014 upscaled one or whatever. I think that game was made in the 90s, not 100% sure, but the voice acting, I haven't done a podcast on that one. I might eventually, who knows. But the voice acting in that was like, you almost became a Jill sandwich. And then in Metal Gear, which, a similar time frame, I think, the voice acting was good. It felt, like I said, the dialogue's a little bit over the top at times, but I feel like a lot of projects can suffer from that. That is a timeless mistake that writers could make. You believe your characters to be more grandiose than they are, and when you write them in such a way, even if you realize it halfway through, it's like, well, is it worth the time to go back and change everything, or should they just sound like another Shakespeare production? But, the voice acting is it's really good, and the emotions, they sometimes feel a little flat, but the nuances of the speech are there, and the point is carried across, so it's still really good. And I was playing the Metal Gear Master Collection Volume 1 on the Switch. I probably should have played it on Xbox or something, but caught it on sale for Switch. So, yeah, I played it on the Switch. I mean, it's a game from like the PS2 or the PS1. I don't even know. So, I think the Switch is hopefully more powerful than a PS2. It should be. I mean, it's like about equal in power to an Xbox 360, but still more powerful than a PS2. And I'm playing on the OLED, so it was a little more upscale. But it looked, okay. Obviously a little bit blocky, a few textures messing up here and there, but, they didn't really change anything. I don't even think they upscaled it. I think they just put it on a modern cartridge, so, that's just a technical limitation. I'm not going to, deduct points for, graphics. I'm not Rotten Tomatoes. I am not that critical. I just really liked the game. It was such a good game. But, yeah, I guess I should probably have rambled on long enough. The game is good. If you haven't played Metal Gear Solid, play it. I've started so many franchises. I've started Final Fantasy. I played FF16, which instantly became one of my favorite games ever. I loved it. It was so good. I need to do a podcast on that one. Then I played FF7 Rebirth directly after that. I've never played the original Final Fantasy VII. I've never played 7 Remake, 7 Remake Integrate. I've never played any of that. Never played Crisis Core. Just Rebirth. And it was an alright game. I don't really get the hype for Final Fantasy VII. I know the 5 people that watch this will absolutely slaughter me for that opinion. But I don't think FF7's the best. But I do plan on playing Remake. And then once the next one comes out, by the time I'm 30 or whatever. Because it takes so long with those games. I'll play it. I want the story. I'll save my thoughts for that one. Because I'll probably end up doing a podcast on it. But, yeah, I played, and then I started playing FF1. I got a cartridge for the Game Boy, and playing it on an analog pocket. But I only played an hour of it, and that was months ago. So I'll have to go back to that at some point. But then I just stopped on that franchise. I played the first Resident Evil. I want to play RE4, but I have to play 2 and 3, and then I'll probably play the others. But I just stopped on that franchise, and now I played the first Metal Gear, and I really want to go to the second Metal Gear, but I'm still, yet to play The Last of Us and Uncharted and all the new games that are coming out. So who knows when I'll play MGS2, but I really look forward to it because, this game was great. The scene direction, the writing was a little over the top, but it was good. It fit, and it's kind of anime-y and over the top anyway, so it's fine. The score was really good. The cinematography and the cutscenes, the camera angles, which the closest thing I think of is Resident Evil, where it has kind of fixed camera angles. This camera moves a little bit, but the camera angles do shift. They can get a little bit wonky at times, but it's still really good. Yeah, I know the average attention span is garbage now, and I've been going for about 15 minutes, and I don't think anyone other than me editing this is going to survive 15 minutes of my voice. So I'm going to hurry up and grade it. Last time I did God of War Ragnarok, which got at number 1. Number 2, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Number 3, Mario and Luigi Brothership. I'm still yet to go back to that game. If I'm absolutely dying of boredom and my phone has lost battery and I can't mindlessly scroll social media or something, I'll probably go back to that game. Or maybe, I don't know, Thanksgiving's coming up. I might play that over the break. It's like my tradition to play a JRPG. It's normally Pokemon, but there's not a new one this year. And it's breaking my tradition and breaking my heart. Kind of, not really. If Game Freak wants to take more time, I'm fine if Game Freak takes more time to make games so we don't get another Scarlet Violet. My Switch feels like it's going to just explode when it plays that game. Looks like crap. And the game was too easy. I should really stop sharing my thoughts on other games. Metal Gear, good. Mario and Luigi Brothership, bad. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, okay. God of War Ragnarok, great. Now, Metal Gear Solid. I don't know where to put it on the list. I absolutely love God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, and I can't wait to play the original God of War games, but I'm not a huge fan of military stuff normally. Like, I like learning about, like, World War II and, like, history stuff because I'm a history nerd. But normally, like, war movies and stuff, they kind of bleed into each other sometimes. So I wasn't too hyped going into MGS1, even though I just wanted to play it because I knew they were popular. I actually was playing Mario and Luigi Brothership one day, got bored, and was like, I have the cartridge lying around here somewhere. Let me find Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. And then I'll just, I started playing MGS1 and I was hooked instantly. Even though I'm normally not too into military stuff, but like I said, this one's a little more anime-y. It has mechs, it has crazy cyborg ninja dude, it has stealth tech. It's cool. I'm not an edgy teenager, but it is cool. I like the anime stuff. They kind of hopped up, the military stuff, which can be very gray and very, assault rifle weapon, a nuke and tank, and they made it a little bit cooler, a little bit more interesting. Than like a lot of war movies and other war games like Call of Duty. The Call of Duty storyline campaigns, it's just like, ugh. Like, I started playing the Black Ops 6 campaign. I just can't even bring myself to finish it. Like, I'll probably will. I want to try, like, that weird hallucinogenic mission set in eastern Kentucky. I want to play that one. I don't know if I'll make it there. I always get bored of those campaigns. But, so I wasn't expecting to last in Metal Gear Solid. I thought I'd kind of drop off of it. But it is so good. And right now I'm trying to figure out, do I like Metal Gear Solid or God of War Ragnarok? I just beat this game like 30 minutes ago, or probably like 50 minutes ago now, because I've been going for 17 minutes. As much as I love Metal Gear, Kratos is just so amazing, and he has such like a beautiful beard. Snake is great, but I don't think he can match that glorious beard of Kratos. So I think I'm gonna have to put MGS1 at number 2 on the list. Kind of hurts me to say that because it's so good, but I don't think it's better than God of War Ragnarok. I like Kratos. He's so cool. Snake's cool too. They're both just like the stoic, hyper masculine video game protagonist. There's not a ton of depth to either character, but I mean, the character archetype works, We have a lot of those. Like, pretty much every like Greek mythology character is, kind of like that, just like really stoic. We have John Wick, the character works. People like that character. And that's like just about every video game protagonist. I mean, I guess just the guy saying, yeah, no, okay, is better than, a bad case of silent protagonist syndrome in which Link can only say, yeah, So, yeah. I kind of want to put it at number 1, but I can't. God of War Ragnarok's too good. Yeah. Okay. MGS1's at number 2 right now. God of War Ragnarok, it's still number 1. I have a few ideas of games that I personally like more than God of War Ragnarok that I plan on doing in the future. But coming up next, I think I'm going to go mad and release as many of these as I can leading up to the Game Awards, because I've played 5 out of 6 of the Game of the Year nominees. The only one I haven't played is Metaphor ReFantazio, which I do intend on playing, but I've never played a Persona game. I think it's the same company. I think it's the same universe. I have no idea. I want to play it, but I played the others. Also, Elden Ring DLC. It's a good DLC. It's not a game. Shouldn't be there. Sorry, that's my opinion. There should be a DLC category. Also, Balatro, good game. I played it for like 2 days and then I got bored. I don't really think it should be there. I haven't played Silent Hill 2 Remake, but I think that one might have been a better fit for Game of the Year nominee. But, the guy who made Balatro, on the 0.0001% chance that, the person who made Balatro hears this the game is great. It held my attention for 2 days. And with the garbage attention span of people my age group in the modern time, that's amazing. That is an accomplishment. But yeah, sorry, I'm rambling. I'm done. Metal Gear Solid's number 2. Peace out.